guys, welcome back or welcome to Midnight Raceway Park. I'm Steve, and this tournament is going to be one with 16 cars that are all Hot Wheels fantasy cars, but they resemble street models or manufacturer cars. I chose them because I just wanted to have some kind of a theme for this particular tournament, and I know the lower to the ground the cars are, the better they're going to handle the road course. The cars on the time trials all did really well, so I'm expecting some competitive racing today. And when I tested the cars on the road course, they all did really well as far as handling the curves, so I don't expect a whole lot of DNFs in this tournament, but we'll see. Sometimes you get a little surprise. But at this point, I'm just going to let the video play out, and I know it's a long video, but if you can make it till the end, I'll have some more comments to talk about regarding the race and what's coming up next. See you on the flip side. Well, congratulations to the chicane. Nobody drove it, but congratulations nonetheless. I feel bad that nobody won the mystery models because I really want to try to get those out. But chicane came out on top this week, beating Ravenger and Ralph Racers, who, if he had won, would have been the first person to win twice on this channel. So overall, I thought it was an exciting race. There were some crazy moments, like when I had that blurb on the screen about this, what is this sorcery, and there's a car, and the back wheel, the roadster, the back wheel was kind of dragging off the track, and then somehow managed to straighten itself to get back on the track. I'd seen that happen one other time in this race. I didn't manage to find it again to highlight it, but that was kind of crazy. One thing I did learn from this race, if nothing else, is that lane 2 is superior over lane 1. The finals went on forever because whoever was in lane 2 always had the advantage. So I'm going to have to look into that, figure out where that advantage is, and if I can even up those lanes somewhat for the next race. Another thing that I kind of bumbled a little bit was on my hiatus, I had built some, not built, but I bought some lighting for, I call it the tunnel, but you know, the cars come down, they go out, they come back, and then they go underneath. I bought some lighting for down there because it's rather dark, you know, especially with the boards on top. And of course I forgot to turn it on for about half the race. So I'll have to make sure I do that, or at least remember to do that in future races. The MST Suzuka was a problem car. I know the other MST Suzukas that I have are on the wide side, and so I noticed that this particular car was having a little bit of a trouble with some of the curves because of its width. So when you're going around a curve, it kind of narrows a little bit, and he was getting slowed down, and it was not only affecting him, but if there's anybody behind that car, it was slowing that person down as well. So I mean, it handled the corners fine as far as, you know, running solo, so I didn't really notice anything, but you know, when it's in action with other cars, you can see that it's not quite up to speed and was having some difficulty there. And I do apologize for the finals going on for long. I guess I could have, you know, cut the first 12 iterations or whatever of them racing out and just kept the last 2 in, but you know, that's the race. That's how it ended up, and so I left it all in there. The next race I plan on doing, it'll be announced in 2 weeks. No, it'll be announced next Sunday, and that is going to be a 8-car tournament. And kind of what I'm thinking is I'm going to do a different type of tournament where I do head-to-head on the drag strip, have a tournament there, and then I'll do another head-to-head bracket on the road course with the same lineup and the same cars. And the reason for that is I'm just curious now, you know, the speed on the drag strip, how does it actually play out on the road course? You know, if the cars that are really good on the drag strip, and we can see some of that because I did the time trials here, but because they're racing four at a time, it's not quite the equivalent. So I want to do an 8-bracket tournament on the drag strip and then recreate it on the road course with the same rules and all that. Just the only difference is that I don't have a timer, although I don't know, I might be able to work something out on the road course. I'll have to think about it. But if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Anything that you want to see in the future, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. I love hearing from people about things that you guys are doing on your tracks. That's one of the things I love about growing this channel is every time I get a new subscriber, I check out what they're doing, and I love checking out everybody else's channels and race courses and whatever it is that they're doing on their channel. So I think that's all I had for this week. I thought it was a good tournament. I feel bad nobody won to get the mystery model, but we'll have another tournament soon, and until then, take care of yourselves.